In the morning, I am your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you're having a wonderful Monday morning. It's the beginning of that work week, and I hope we bring you a little happiness for that time of the month. Oh man, I wasn't sure I was going to do this today. I basically took a day off the internet, except for playing video games with Satsu. I mean, I was on the internet, but I was watching YouTube videos. I after we logged off the show yesterday, I don't even know how it happened. I'm not sure what video led to it, but eventually I got to watching Penn and Teller's Fool Us, and I fucking love that show. It's amazing. And from that, I was like, I want to watch more of that. So when I woke up this morning, watched a whole bunch more, and then I've been watching it for the last 2 hours at least. Just sitting back, relaxing, enjoying it for a change. Just enjoying watching stuff instead of being the one with the voice going out there. And I rewatched because of watching that some Penn and Teller documentaries and stuff came up, and I watched a profile of them on Bravo, which I was never the biggest Bravo fan. That's some television for women, y'all. If you have a penis, you might not have heard of it before, but it was a fairly interesting piece on them. This was when they were a little bit younger. This was back in 2000, I believe, is when it aired. But then from that, I watched Penn Jillette talking at the Cato Institute, which, by the way, is one of my favorite libertarian talks ever, from any libertarian, because most of them, they're so up their own ass, man. I'm so smart. And one of the things that I've always loved about Penn Jillette, who is a smart guy, is that he will readily tell you he's an idiot. Because while he might know some things, he realizes he doesn't know that much. He has some knowledge on certain topics, but he never tries to present himself as smarter than he actually is. And he explains his idea on libertarianism, and it basically boils down to this. Do you believe it's okay to punish somebody who hasn't done anything wrong? And it's a great question. It's a great question that far too many people don't ask when it comes to our laws and shit. And I don't think a lot of people think of it that deeply. Is it okay to punish somebody who hasn't done anything wrong? And when you're talking about taxes, which is where, libertarians, they love that to fight against taxes. Penn, he tells us his philosophy of this. It's that you give government the right to, they have the right to the guns. The government is the only one who can use force legally without it being a matter of self-defense. They're the only ones who can use force. So say, for instance, you're talking about the police. They can use force. Now they're supposed to use it in a legal manner, but what that legal manner is well, it's up to us to decide as the people. And Penn said he came up with this litmus test for himself, where if he couldn't do it theoretically, if he couldn't put a gun to somebody's head to make them behave in a way that he wanted them to, then he couldn't be for it. And for instance, he says, could I use a gun to stop a murder? He says, yeah, of course I could. Could I use a gun to stop a rape? Sure. A robbery? Yeah. Could I use a gun to force somebody to pay for a library? Now that sounds kind of silly, right? Who would use a gun to force somebody to pay for a library? Well, we actually do it all the time. We do it all the time, and I don't think many people put that much thought into it. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning.
Just going on a deep philosophical rant on libertarianism here for just a moment.
Are we going to complain about roads?
Not exactly. Because that's where I actually get a little fuzzy when it comes to libertarianism. Because for the most part, I'm a very small government guy. And it is very much for the reason that Penn Jillette described, is would I personally hold a gun on somebody and say, you have to act this way? And when it comes to things like roads or anything paid for with taxes, anything that you think the government should pay for with taxes, you're basically saying that it's okay for the government, if things go all the way to the extreme, to kill that person over it. Because what happens if you don't pay your taxes? You get arrested. Well, what happens if you don't come quietly? They can kick your ass. What happens if that not going quietly goes too far? They can literally put a bullet in you. Now, that's not, luckily that doesn't happen that often. You know, your tax cheats, they end up just going to jail quietly. But it is punishing somebody for not doing anything necessarily wrong. Like, you didn't pay your taxes. Okay, well, what all are my taxes going for? And see, Jack, this is where I do kind of differ from libertarians, because when it comes to things like roads, would I hold a gun to somebody's head and say, you have to pay for roads? Whoops, sorry about that. No, I absolutely would not. But I also think government should pay for roads. So that's where I get a little fuzzy, but I do tend to lean towards it. That's why I always say I'm a libertarian leaning conservative. There's a lot of Republicans. I'm a small government Republican. No, you're not. Shut up. There ain't no such thing. Ain't no such fucking thing. You just want the government used in different ways. I want the government used in as few ways as fucking possible. As few ways as possible. Anyway, that's actually not what I wanted to talk about tonight, because as much as I enjoyed that chat, and if you'd like to watch it, it's over on my Twitter. The link's below if you're not following me already. It's a great talk by Penn about why he's a libertarian, and agree, disagree, but think. That's the whole thing. You know, open your mind once in a while. Go think about something you haven't. And it is.
I don't know about that. Thinking's a lot of work.
Thinking is a lot of work. There's a great line in it, and somebody quoted it. Who quoted Jim Healis? Ben says that he's talking to his friend who turned him on to libertarianism, because the guy didn't try to, romanticize it or lie to him about it. He just says, "You're wrong. You're an asshole. Think about this." And he goes, "Apparently that's how you have to get me to change my mind." And Jim Healis goes, "Yeah, how you argue with Penn Jillette and Ranting Monkey. You're not wrong. You're not wrong." Because you make me think. That's how you change my mind. If you can make me look at something in a way I haven't considered before, that's how I might not change my mind, but I might soften a stance, or there's a chance I might. But yeah. One, just don't sugarcoat it. That's one thing that'll immediately make me go, go fuck yourself. Could not care less what you have to say if you're going to sugarcoat bullshit for me. But anyway, what I was actually wanting to talk about was Penn and Teller themselves.
Okay.
I've been a huge fan of Penn and Teller since I first saw them. Fuck, I couldn't even tell you where I first saw them. It was probably on David Letterman. I don't know if it was their first show they ever did on there. Are you okay with that?
I'm just kicking shit. I hit the leg of the table.
But I remember when they showed up in Tricky by Run DMC. They were in the video for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so close, Penn and Teller. But I've been big fans. And one of the things I always loved about them is they were the first mainstream comedians who broke the fourth wall. They would tell you, I am lying to you. I'm absolutely pulling your leg this whole time. And then in the end, they still did it. And you were still like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah, they're sneaky ones. You got to keep an eye on your wallet around them.
Indeed. And because of that, I mean, there were a lot of magicians at the beginning when they were first coming up who hated them because all they heard is, oh, they're telling how tricks are done, which is actually not something they've ever done a bunch of, it just a little bit. And mostly, if you watch the different over the years, they've got a lot more respect. So you'll actually see they told on themselves, not on other people. They would, there was I think it was a PBS broadcast that they had back in the mid 80s where they do this great thing where they're doing a card trick, and Penn just keeps showing the guy, look, I'm palming the fucking, he just keeps showing him, I'm palming it every time. Why do you believe me? Every time. And then they end up doing a great reveal at the end where they did it anyway. And but no, it was great to see them, you know, break that fourth wall without breaking the fourth. It's an amazing thing to watch, and it's an amazing thing to have people that are dedicated to the truth like that while still lying to you. It's nice. It's nice. I wish there was more of that in society.
I'm just glad they didn't use their powers to sell me a timeshare.
Oh, they could easily, man.
Yeah, and that's what worries me, because they're sort of like amusing con men.
They are, but there's a difference between them and some of the other ones who've come up after them. Like I said, guys, I watched a shit ton of Penn and Teller today, and there's several talks, including one they gave at Google just a couple of years ago, where Penny goes, "If you leave our show thinking you saw magic, we didn't do our job. If you leave our show and you actually thought that you saw any kind of magic at all, we did not do our job right. Our whole job is to convince you that you're seeing a show that is not real." And he was talking, I think it was David Blaine. David Blaine, he wants people to leave his shows thinking there might be something out there. And they're like, "No, we're just a couple of charlatans. We're just a couple of, that's what I mean. Be upfront about it, you know what I mean?" But yeah. There's a great part when they're talking to the Google crowd, because this was at Google, and somebody gets up there and they ask him about somehow the subject of free speech came up, and I'm surprised Google hasn't chopped this off of YouTube, because Penn Jillette actually says the words, "The answers to bad speech is always more speech."
Ooh.
I know,
that's
right?
A right-wing talking point.
Ooh. Yeah, well, these guys, I mean, these are libertarian atheists, so they tend to sound right-wing, especially by today's standards, man. No, but it's a lot of fun to watch them and to have somebody, you know, lie to you while telling you how much they're lying to you. Like, "I'm going to lie to you. Here, watch, I just lied to you." But it's also inspiring because these are two guys who didn't do it the conventional way. Back then, I don't know how old the audience is. Do you remember magic back in the 80s, man? It was always David Copperfield. Always had his specials on.
Yeah. Making always Statue of Liberty disappear.
Statue of Liberty, elephants. What else did that fucker make disappear? And he was always dressed like Liberace and had hot chicks around, and there was smoke and mirrors. And
yep, it was a big extravaganza.
And he always pulled the, "It was mystical. I actually made it disappear." Like, no, you didn't, motherfucker.
You are not a wizard. You're just a charlatan.
You're not a wizard, David. Magicians are entertainers without the entertainment. It depends on the magician.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good ones like Penn and Teller and Amazing Jonathan that are just admitting they're entertainers.
Yeah,
they're not trying to convince you they have mystical powers from the ether, you know. So I don't know. I like them quite a bit, but I'm just not that into magic.
Well, again, for me, it's not into magic. I'm more into the showmanship of it.
Yeah, I respect a good show.
That's why I like the show Fool Us, is because those guys get up there and you have to put on a good show. You are performing for Penn and Teller, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You better put on a decent show, and you can tell the ones who are magicians and the ones who are showmen. And the ones who are showmen are always my favorite. But to your point a moment ago where you're talking about, you know, I don't want to buy anything from these guys. You know, I feel like they'd sell me a timeshare kind of thing.
Well, they totally would.
There's one guy, and I forget his name. He's been on the show a couple of times. He actually teaches business. He teaches business using the concepts of magic, of distorted perception.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, I mean, you're not wrong.
No, it carries over quite nicely. It's just like the art of war. You can use that to apply it to business or dating or other aspects of life. And
sure,
yeah, it's kind of creepy, but it's still applicable because there's a lot of lessons you can learn from things that carry over to other skill sets. And deception's a big one for business. You have to make if you're selling something, you have to make it look really good. Like when you see mayonnaise on commercials,
Mhm.
It's usually Elmer's glue.
Right.
It-
Yeah. The food you see in commercials is never actually, well, it might be food, but it's not the food they're showing you.
Yeah, nobody's gonna eat it because they like paint it, they change the color tints. It's not something that somebody's actually gonna eat. They put different things on it that aren't what you're gonna get when you go to the store.
Formerly Rodline says, Monkey, do you remember the late 90s Fox specials, Magic Secrets Revealed? I do. Would they have 3 of those? And I hated them. Absolutely hated them. For a couple of reasons. One, the presentation was garbage. They were... they probably could have got all 3 of them done in one episode, but they were going...
They were milking it.
They went for the same pomp and circumstance they were supposedly, challenging.
Yeah. Hi, Stargazer.
Hey, Nuts. I don't see Nuts. Why don't I see her?
I don't know. Oh, I have top chat up. Shit.
Oh, because she's way up there. Hi, sweetheart. Sorry, I missed you there. No, also he was ruining other people's careers.
Yeah. That was a chick, wasn't it?
I don't remember who it was. But
There was somebody I'd never heard of.
Yeah, me too. I remember when they did the whole reveal. I just don't remember who the fuck it was. But like again with Penn and Teller, they show you the trick they just did.
Yeah.
And whether other people do it or not, it's not necessarily in that same way. They don't go, this is how they do it every day. I fucking hated that whole show because it's like, I'm going to ruin other people. Where these guys were going, this is how I'm going to trick you. Watch, I'm going to do it again. And you didn't even see it. How you like that? So there's a difference there, and at least in my opinion. But no, I was watching the whole magic thing, and the guy with the business thing, I'm like, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
You're basically telling people to lie in business. That's I mean, he's probably pretty good at his fucking job. Because I mean, if you want to be successful in business, there's a bit of lying in there, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta have a little bit of mystery about you. You gotta have some good showmanship. You have to be able to convince people they're seeing something different than maybe what they should be seeing. Like, look over here, look over here, look over here. Thanks for all your money.
Good now, day. I do love magic. I'm not a big fan of the pomp and circumstance ones. I like the more street performer types. Like the one thing I don't. Chris Angel, sometimes it depends on which one he's doing. I mean, emo. What's he call himself? It's not the emo comedian or emo magician, although it should be.
Some sort of dark gothy weirdo.
Yeah.
He can have his stupid terms for it. He's just a sad goth weirdo.
He does some neat tricks, man. But they are tricks. The ones I can't take are mentalists. Those people are just dirty shitbags.
Oh, like hypnotism and stuff like that?
No, like the I can talk to the dead.
Oh, those are just charlatans. They're
just
straight up frauds doing cold reading. I'm seeing the letter M, someone in the audience, somewhere over in this area. Yeah, you're bound to have a relative with the letter M that's dead.
Yeah. And you know what? I wouldn't mind it if they weren't such douchey people over. It's always somebody who is dead. I'm talking to your dead relative, and you're giving people false hope. There's a great actual South Park episode on what the fuck was that guy's name? Edwards.
Jonathan Edwards.
Jonathan Edwards. Yeah. He was watched quite a bit in our house. Didn't he show up on like Oprah one time?
Yeah, he hit the whole talk show circuit quite a bit.
And yeah, he's just so amazing. Like he's a fucking charlatan. He's a liar.
Yeah. Cold reading is a known trick. It's been around since the spiritualism craze of the 1900s, like the early 1900s. Even like Houdini busted people doing that crap.
Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, who said the masked magician was Val Valentino, and I am not a douche. That's from the South Park episode. I'm not a douche. And then he ended up winning the biggest, no one nowhere, the biggest douche in the universe award at the end of the show. It was great. But no, that's the kind of stuff I hate. And I used to hate it watching. Like you're giving these people false sense of fucking hope and closure. And maybe look, I don't know if there's a spirit world. You know what I do know? I know Edwards never once fucking communicated with it.
Yeah.
If he ever accidentally made contact with the spirit world, he'd piss himself immediately.
Yeah. I think he's evil for doing things like that because
Yes.
it hurts people. People that are in desperate need to move forward and work through their grief, and you're just continually poking that pain. And I'll never forget the fat bitch. What's her name?
Oprah?
No, the fake psychic.
Oh.
She had a tax fraud thing. Sylvia Brown.
Yes.
She told somebody that their kid was dead, and it turned out the kid wasn't dead.
Yeah. Snub said it really well back here. I see your grandma's soul. She lived in a house on a street. Yeah, exactly.
Joke's on you. My family's cave beasts.
Like those are the ones that piss me off. Like I said, I love a good magic show. Even if there's some mentalism worked in there, because that can be fun as a I can see your relatives bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of psychology at play in some of that stuff, but for the most part, it's a guessing game. Mentalists know, the odds. That's what it is. Didn't one of those mentalists get busted on some news interview? I'm not sure.
Probably. I mean, would you be surprised? I actually have some Snubberth mentioned Miss Cleo in the chat.
Oh yeah.
I actually have a set of her Power Tarot cards. I did an unboxing of them.
See, I don't mind people like Miss Cleo and them.
That's just a sucker's bet. Some idiot's going to call them being a fool with their money. That's different.
Well, she got in trouble for fraud.
No, the company she worked for got in trouble for fraud. And they own the character of Miss Cleo. They're still around. Mm-hmm. You can still.
She died.
But yeah, she died of cancer.
Didn't see that one coming.
Apparently not. But yeah, I don't blame her for the fraud that was going on there. That was some shady stuff going with other people. She just was like this hired person with the worst Jamaican accent ever.
Well, you mean that wasn't a real accent?
I know. I was shocked too. I'll never forget staying up late to watch those infomercials. And
I loved them.
Oh man, they were so much fun.
You call me now, man.
Yeah, that was a better accent than
I know, wasn't it?
Did. Yeah.
No, but Miss Cleo, I love Miss Cleo, and people like, she's not real. I'm like, you think that you read the horoscope? You think that's fucking real? Yeah, I'm gonna piss off somebody in the audience because there's people who think that is real. It's not.
Hey, let's shit on numerology next.
I saw a great fight on Twitter over astrology, man. There's some people that take that stuff deadly serious, and if you insult it in any way, they will lose their shit. Just absolutely lose their minds.
Yeah, I dated a chick that was real into horoscopes and astrology. I was like, Mercury is always in retrograde. Shut up. Dream analysis has more credibility than this crap. That relationship didn't last long.
I would imagine not. What do you think about the James Randi debunk videos? I'm not sure what that is.
James Randi's kind of a dick. He was a magician, I think, but he goes around debunking stuff, but he's always an asshole about it. I think he's got an attitude problem. He's kind of to the paranormal field what T.J. Kirk is to Christianity.
So James Randi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar at all. I'll have to look him up later. Oh, wait. Oh, the old dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen him before. God, it's been years since I've looked at him.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking old now. I think he's still alive. But he had a standing thing. You could get $1 million if you could prove you had psychic powers. Well, if there are psychic powers, people that have them would be terrified of them. So like I don't know what's happening. I have visions of the future. Shit like that. Plus you'd be probably a lottery winner 8 or 9 times over.
Well, see, that's what I think lottery winners are actually psychic.
Yeah, that's fine, man. More power to them on that front. Just be responsible with your money is all, and so you have it longer. Otherwise, you're just dumb. But yeah, I have no problem with the concept of people having psychic powers. I have a problem with people that call themselves psychics, though, because I've
Well,
met several people that claim to be psychics, and they're all just self-attention, like attention-seeking frauds, is what I would call them.
I think they're supposed to be entertainers in a sideshow. That's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's it's not something that's very easily testable. I mean, you could use some Zener cards and tell me you got wavy lines or squares or circles or whatever. Fine, but if you're out there like, oh, I sense a presence, yeah, I do too, and it's you, you fraud.
No, it's the kind of thing you should go to. Like if you go to a fair, it's like, hey, let's go see the psychic. Give her $10. She tells you spin some, read your palm or some stupid shit. You're gonna be very rich, and you're gonna get your dick sucked every day for breakfast. Which, by the way, none of them ever say for some reason. None of them ever say that.
It's never pedestrian stuff because most people have incredibly pedestrian, boring lives.
Indeed, and that's supposed to be the fun of it. But then, as with everything, some jackass has to come in and ruin it for people.
Yeah.
Because I got to be rich and famous. You're a carnival act. Go sit down.
Yeah. Don't mislead people. Don't tell them that your spirit guide or whatever is going to go look at their past lives and tell them they were a queen.
Oh God.
That's some, if they believe that shit, fine. But then they started on the like talking to dead relatives, and that's not that cool, man. Because those people are desperate people looking for answers to something that they are never going to get real answers for, and you're giving them false hope.
Well, Sadistic just said in chat, you'll meet a tall, dark, handsome stranger. Yeah. And then the poor bitch gets into a bad relationship because a psychic told her that was the love of her life.
Yeah, exactly. There are people out there that are desperate for something positive in their life, or they're looking for a missing relative and things like that. That's just atrocious. There are people that will base their lives around what they're told.
Who's the bitch?
Suckers.
Who's the bitch that Nancy Reagan used to go to?
Oh shit, I don't remember her name.
She was very famous psychic and used to claim.
Is that Janine?
Oh, I think you're onto it. Fuck, I don't remember her last name. But Hammer says, remember the psychic who told Blair White that she was pregnant? Yep. Yeah. And you know what? That's how a psychic should be used. You go in there and you come out laughing at what they told you. You shouldn't go in there. And it's kind of, to me, a case of buyer beware until it gets taken to a certain point, and then it's just fraud. You go in there, there's some bitch dressed up with a old sheet on her head, lots of rings. She's got a upside down fish bowl on the table, and that's fine. It's just, it's fine.
Well, it was Joan Quigley.
Oh, is that who it was? That does not sound familiar. No, yeah, but she was wasn't she one of the ones who used to claim that to help the police solve murders?
Yeah.
I've helped the police solve murders, and the police are like, we ain't never heard of this bitch. There's a couple of those lunatics. Who was the one that's fuck? It might be the fat one you were talking about earlier.
Sylvia Brown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She had a show a couple years back on the Learning Channel or Lifetime or one of those, and Lady Monkey watched it, and I'd watch, and she'd make me leave the room.
Yeah,
because like that bitch is lying. That bitch ain't got no powers. Like, why didn't she know that hot dog was gonna go straight to her hips?
Right. Do you remember Gary Spivey?
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Oh my God! Hold on, I'll pull up a picture of him. Because he's a treat. He was one of those charlatan ones that we hate so much.
Yeah, the Edwards, he was the worst, man. I was so happy to see South Park take him down because he had gotten so big and had his own TV show and everything, man. And I would have at least had more respect for the guy if he showed all the times he got it wrong. But of course they edit. Oh, Jesus fuck, what is that?
That's Gary Spivey,
Oh
psychic at
my
large.
God.
Yeah. Used to see him on he was on Phil Donahue a few times. Somebody like that, Jenny Jones, one of them.
Wow.
And so I had a couple relatives that were real into those talk shows, and I saw that dude on there.
Yeah, if he was psychic, he'd have known that head would make me laugh at him right now.
That was his gimmick. His they all have some. Remember that guy, Mystery, that was doing the show on pickups, pickup artistry? They used his technique of it's the same concept of have something outlandish about you that people will focus on, and they remember you then.
Fair enough, but it doesn't have to be a giant cotton ball on your head. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, don't look like a tampon.
Right.
Rules of being a fraud psychic.
Oh my God. Excuse me. I didn't mean to be yawning there, guys. I took my medicine a little while ago, so I'm gonna be yawning here for a bit. Least professional monkey on the internet. If you don't know that already, then you haven't been paying attention. I tell you guys all the damn time. They don't listen to me, Jack.
Or they're new and they should subscribe and share.
Definitely. Oh, wow. If he's not smuggling coke under that wig, I'd be surprised. That'd be a great thing to smuggle coke in, man.
Maybe it's made out of coke and he just sniffs it occasionally.
Well, when you're done, when you get wherever you're going, you just beat the coke right out of it and go back for more. It's actually kind of clever.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Man. Yeah, I've never got an actual psychic reading. I kind of want one.
I got a couple because it's funny. One of my friends for one of my birthdays gave me a gift card to this place that did psychic readings, and I just started making shit up, and they were giving me all these oh, what's your birthday? So I'd lie, and then they're like, oh yeah, I sense a relative. Oh, was it Grandpa Joe? I don't have a Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, go in there, and I'd also like to go in there and just try to bum them the fuck out with my real life.
Yeah, your life might make them cry.
I know, right? Be like, I'm trying to get are you talking to my mom? And yeah, it's your mom. And she's saying that, oh no, that must have been my brother who hung himself. Oh yeah, it's him. They say something. Oh no, it's my dad who died. Just keep trying to bum them the fuck out till they cry and go away. I don't. If I'm going to give my credit card info on the phone, I might as well give it to a sex hotline instead of a psychic. No, for me, it's not. I don't mean a over the phone one. I mean actually going to go to a carnival, man. Go to a state fair.
Oh, you can. Have them. They have little mini conventions.
Oh yeah, there you
go. They had one in Columbus where it's Energy Con or something like that. It lasted 3 years, but they sold crystals and shit.
Oh,
and they have 2 or 3 of them around the city every year.
I've owned crystals before, and not because I thought they were, actual magic properties. We went to.
They're cool looking.
They are. We went to Busch Gardens in Virginia, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and they have a wonderful section that's Old England, and apparently Americans, we all think that they had dragons back then. Dragons and wizards. so there's a whole bunch of shops with knickknacks and stuff that is, old wizards and shit. And there was this one great shop that had all kinds of different crystals and stuff in there. But James said, "Wow, bad monkey," and I'm glad that actually came up, because the only thing I really had planned, other than talking about Penn and Teller and magic itself and how much I enjoy it and how much I enjoyed their act specifically, was something we've been over before. It
Uh-oh.
came up again yesterday morning. I'm going to share this on the screen here, Jack, because it pissed me right off. I mean, I was like, when I told this person to go fuck themselves, I meant it. Usually it's just a kind of things not to joke about. Depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar, PTSD, cancer, panic attacks, autism, OCD, people who have died, disabilities, rape, suicide. Thanks. God, I think I've joked about every single one of those.
Yeah, I know I have.
Well, I know I have. I don't know about if we've done. I don't know if I've ever joked about schizophrenia on this show. I think we might have, actually.
We probably have.
Let's see. I know we've done depression, anxiety. Oh, I don't know if we've specifically done bipolar. We've done.
I could restate my bipolar bear joke.
What's your bipolar bear joke?
I like to make fun of bipolar bears. They laugh half the time.
Nice. Let's see. We've hit PTSD, cancer, panic attacks, autism, OCD. We've joked about a few times. People who have died. Yeah, we do. I just did that. Disabilities, rape, suicide. Yeah, we've hit all of those. There's like one or two we may have missed, possibly. Okay, I just got a. Was that a donation? Yes, from Snub. Thank you. Who says I've been diagnosed with autism. Monkey, I give you the A-word pass. I appreciate that, but here's the thing. As I told that person, you don't get to tell me what to joke about. You don't get to tell me what to joke about. You can go fuck yourself if you think you can. Now, I will say YouTube can tell me what I can joke about on their platform. So there may be times I make a joke and I have to go away for a while.
Get yourself a little time out.
Yeah, I've had that happen on Twitter once or twice as well. But that kind of list is really fucking dangerous. It's dangerous. It's not just stupid. It's dangerous. Laughter heals. Laughter helps people deal with shit.
Yeah.
There was a guy in the comments who is he says, so my mom can't make jokes about my dad who died of cancer. It was fuck that. That's how we dealt with it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of well-meaning bullshit that leads to absolute asininity. It's a new form. Well, it's actually the same old form of political correctness. Oh, you can't joke about that. Oh, you can't joke about that. Why? Because somebody might get offended. That's actually the kind of person who needs to hear that joke more than anyone else.
Yeah, so they lighten the fuck up.
Yeah, if you can't laugh at yourself, believe me, I'll do it for you. And thank you, James Colley, who says, I think the OCD is a typo. If they had it, it would be CDO because it needs to be in order, damn it. Well played indeed. Yeah, it's got to be alphabetical order.
I remembered who I was thinking of with the psychics. Gene Dixon.
Dixon, yes. And thank you, Circus Zero, who says, being bipolar ain't half bad. There's your bipolar joke. Well played, sir. Whoops, I did not mean to highlight the next one. Sorry. I like that joke. That's funny.
Hell yeah.
I hate people who think like this because they're trying to sanitize society so that people don't get their poor little feelings hurt.
Well, they're policing other people's thoughts, and I don't like that. Don't tell people what to think. I mean, it's what are you, part of the Stasi? Come on.
Hi, Kathy, who says, "Oh, thank God, something sane to listen to." We're something sane to listen to, Jack.
You're in trouble.
She says, "Hello, everyone. Hi, Monk. Hi, Jack. And laughing is therapeutic. Otherwise, I would not survive my degree or my coworkers. Believe me, there were many days. I couldn't have survived my life without humor, man. Yeah, ain't no fucking way.
None of us are getting out of this alive. So just take it in stride, laugh a little, find things that make you happy. Something bad happens, make a joke out of it. You'll feel a little bit better.
I've talked about this one before. It's something that pisses me off every April 1st. Is those people who come out there and go, don't make jokes about being pregnant. Some people have lost babies.
Yeah, that sucks, but I'll do whatever I want. Thank you.
they're not talking about your baby. I mean, bad things happen all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And look, if you can't take a joke, you need to leave society. You don't need to change society to fit your sad, pathetic little life.
You could tell people, hey, I don't like that. I don't appreciate it. And they have a right to be like, oh, well, fuck you. There used to be joke books in the 80s. Remember those dead baby joke books? Like 101 dead baby jokes?
There was the gross joke books, the dead baby joke books. I somewhere around here, I still have totally gross limericks.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They had like Italian jokes, Irish jokes, Polish jokes.
The Helen Keller ones were always my favorite because they were horrible.
Yeah. She was kind of a bitch anyway, so I don't really care about her.
Again, I've told this joke several times, but I love it, so I'm going to tell it again. Why did Helen Keller's dog kill itself? You would kill yourself too if your name was. That's a suicide joke and a Helen Keller joke. That's a twofer right there, y'all.
And it involves pets. I mean, you're hitting the whole spectrum here.
Yeah, the gross jokes books, man. There's actually at least one YouTube video out there of people reading those today, and they just don't find any of it funny because they're like so old, woke now that none of that is funny. Ramen Lewis says Helen Keller, look her up. You'll see why that. That's also my one of my other favorites is what was Helen Keller's favorite mouthwash? Jergens lotion.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who had the Cards Against Humanity when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some really offensive stuff in there back then. They've censored a lot of their own cards. They've taken cards out of the sets.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
And he's like, hey, I got this new game. You guys want to play it? And I had played this before, like during pre-release, because they play tested it at conventions. And I was like, oh, yes, I would love to play this game. And the Helen Keller card dropped. 3 people walked away from the table.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to win again. So, yep, I've seen lots of people avoid playing that game or any similar one because there's a lot of knockoffs now.
Sure.
Some of the knockoffs are actually pretty funny because they put the offensive shit right back in.
I think that game and the popularity of it shows just how badly society needs some fucking humor. Because there's a lot of stuff in there that it is just juvenile and crass, which can be fine, but there's also some in there that's actually wickedly witty and crass, and I like both.
There's nothing wrong with being a little offensive. Sometimes you need to do that. You can't walk on eggshells around everyone. And this whole thing with like, oh, that's offensive over comedy is just making people more high-strung. You need to have that release valve where pressure builds up and then your steam engine explodes. I took that metaphor too far.
No, that was awesome. Oh God, James Colley, thank you so much. He said, "Did you hear any of Helen Keller's speeches?" Neither did she. What's 6 foot long, smells and doesn't like corners well? Dead baby skewers, and doesn't make corners well. Sorry,
that's disturbing.
That is disturbing. I like the Helen Keller joke though. No, we used to play a game. This came out just before, well, about a year before, maybe 2 years before Cards Against Humanity. And if you played it right, it's actually a much better game than Cards Against Humanity, called The Game of Things.
Oh, yeah.
The Game of Things is awesome. And when we played it as a family, even though my kids were underage and there was a rule, no swearing in my house till you were 18, all bets were off when we played that game. You could say whatever came to your mind. And that's where I learned that my kids are funnier than I am. They are. They're horrible. They get it from their dad, and they took it to an extreme. And people would come over and try to play it with us, and they couldn't because they just the Game of Things is I forget the exact premise, but instead of playing cards, you actually have to think up what it is that's said that's funny, and then people vote on what was the best answer in very much the same way, and that's how you get points. So the funniest thing is going to win all the time, and so you never have that problem where in Cards Against Humanity sometimes you just fuck, I have nothing that goes with this.
Yeah,
it's entirely up to your imagination, and it's one of the reasons I like the game so much more. But if you're a normie and you come to my house and try to play that game, you're going to hate us. You're going to think we're the most horrible people on the planet. And my now son-in-law actually came over one time when we were playing, and he's like, I can't make those jokes. Like,
what are you, a Mormon?
Real quick, thank you, Jay Reynolds, who says, how do you circumcise a redneck? Kick his sister in the cunt. Shouldn't that be in the mouth?
Yeah, either way.
Well, it's just blank right there. So
vagina dentitis. She's got teeth down there.
Kick her in the head. Yeah, a lot of those work. It's like the argument about 9/11 jokes. Now people get upset. It will always be too soon to joke about it. Look, I have a never too soon thing. Now I will tell you, I've told jokes, and I'm like, oof, maybe that was a little too soon. But I'm like, fuck it, I own it.
Yeah. Too late for regrets.
Yeah. So
over on the Streamlabs, thank you, Circus Zero. What do you call an Eskimo who likes dudes and chicks? Bipolar.
Well played. No, yeah, I've mentioned this so many times, and I cannot mention it enough. This world needs comedy desperately.
Yeah, other than Antifa. Yeah, did you know there is a travel version of the Game of Things that is also an expansion pack?
I did not.
It's only $6. And there's also a new edition with 25% more topics that just came out last year.
No, we haven't played that since before Cards Against Humanity came out.
Oh, well, yeah, you got to bust out the new edition, man. Fundraiser.
That game is just so fucking amazing. I had so much fun with it. I like where you have to be creative. You find out who the funny people are real fast. Remember this one? What do you call a fat SJW? A hypocrite. Nice.
I think fat and SJW seem to be pretty redundant most of the time.
A hell pack for 666. Nice. Now, if you guys have never played the Game of Things and you have funny friends, don't do it. If you got boring vanilla friends that probably won't like it.
No, they get all butthurt about your funny jokes about Helen Keller getting hit by a bus and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there were times, man. It was just I would, just for the fuck of it, I would just like, you have this tiny little piece of paper that you get to write your answer on. And you can make your answer as long or as short as you want. And I would just like write this whole fucking paragraph. Just because, like, okay, I'm getting done with the game right now. And that's something you can't do with Cards Against Humanity. It's just, okay, I got Helen Keller, which again, Helen Keller can be funny, but give me the other stuff. Let me make up the dirty shit, for fuck's sake. I have a dirty mind. I need it. It needs put to use, Jack, is what I'm saying.
I understand completely. I have the same problem.
When it comes to jokes, if I don't like the joke, I won't laugh. If it bugs me enough, I'll leave. No sense in complaining, in my opinion. I've never, well, I can't say never. I don't think I've heard a joke bad enough, that it was like, oh, I'm just so offended by this joke that I wouldn't listen to it or listen to what else the person had to say.
Yeah.
Now, I might have heard a joke that I thought, okay, this is just crass and not actually funny, and like, I'll turn the channel, see what else is on. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever been like that damn offended by a joke.
No, I don't think so.
Again, I don't want to say never, but I'm not easily offended. And I think that, again, a huge problem in our society. People not just offended over things that affect them. I mean, half the time you see those April 1st post about don't pretend to be pregnant. It's not cool to people who've had miscarriages or people who can't get pregnant. It's from fuckers who got like 12 kids. Like, bitch, I know you ain't talking about you. Thank you, Mighty Balzac, who says there's nothing funny about my Aunt Effa. Antifa. Oh, I get it. Antifa.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen them try and punch people. And they
Well,
all punch like girls.
oh, they're getting better about it if you saw Portland the other day, man.
Dude, I was watching that before I came in. Holy fuck. Portland cops are must be the biggest cowards on earth. Because there was a dude with man titties throwing punches out there. I'm like, you're letting this fat motherfucker attack people who were just standing there. I mean, there was a kid nearby too.
Yeah.
Come on.
That place is getting dangerous, man.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna get killed out there, and I hope the family sues the shit out of the cops.
The Proud Boys have already said they'll be back next month if Portland doesn't clean up their shit.
And yes, Kathy, there's a great clip going around of an Antifa guy that tried to punch a short bus and it
fell.
It fell. That was priceless.
Yeah. Careful, we can't make short bus jokes. Because, you know, I got in trouble one time because I said retarded people don't get upset about getting called retarded because they don't know what it means.
They don't. They don't care. They know they're retarded.
Their parents are the ones who get upset by it.
Yeah.
Or their friends or some bitch who's never even met him who's just like, saying retard isn't very nice.
Or JF Garrity.
Right. He's like, hey, I was trying to date her. Yeah. But people are, that's not nice to say. Like, they don't know what it means. They don't care.
Lots of things aren't nice to say. That dress makes you look fat. I think Anne Frank got sold out by another. Oh, I'm going to stop there.
Yeah, it's sad, man. So many people getting offended for others or getting offended over shit that I'm not one of those people. Let's go back to the 50s because there's a lot of shit wrong with the 50s, but there was some stuff that was okay. Like people not getting their panties in a wad all the time. But even back then, I mean, you couldn't say fuck on TV, so they weren't that open about it. But at least you could say it. You can hang up naked ladies in your office. Can't do that now. That's sexist. Can't make jokes. Can't have naked ladies around. We all need to wear full body covering so nobody gets a boner or wet. Keep your legs together. Don't look. Go Muslim, basically.
Yeah.
Never laugh. Yeah, those fuckers don't even laugh right before they blow something up. If ever there was a time to laugh, I mean, throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, so, eventually somebody's going to end up dead at one of these things. And it's probably going to be some bystander that didn't even have anything to do with anything.
Well, if you look at that video, the short bus video, Jack, I don't know how much of that video you saw.
Well, just little snippets. There's a lot of stuff getting taken down off YouTube.
Before that bus pulls out, that's where the hammer thing came from yesterday, guys. It's the same bus. Antifa kicks in the windows of the door to the bus, the front door to the bus.
Yeah.
And as the bus is starting to pull away, they spray mace into it.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
They sprayed mace at the driver of a bus.
Yeah, they don't care.
And if that bus would have run over somebody because the driver couldn't fucking see, who'd get blamed? Oh, it was those right wingers on that bus.
Oh yeah, they'd call it a bus of peace.
Yeah. But hey, don't let them once again attempting murder bother anybody.
Well, they still haven't bothered to track down the people that attacked Andy. However you pronounce his last name.
No, just no. It's Andy. No. The G is silent, Jack.
Yeah, I can never remember. It depends where they're from, how the G is pronounced.
Yeah, his is just Andy. No, I was so glad when I learned that. It's like, oh, thank God, I don't have to try to pronounce. No. No, the first time I really remember hearing about Antifa here in America, because I've heard about them overseas, where they have real Antifa.
Yeah.
The Antifa that, people end up bloodied and beaten to death over it.
Yeah, they're the Antifa you don't fuck with.
Thank you, James Colley, who says Muslim comedians have killer punchlines. Indeed.
It's explosive.
It's explosive. It's the best show ever. The first time I remember hearing about them here was the Milo event. And I just remember all of the reaction to that and how everybody's blowing this out of proportion. And I was the only one I heard at the beginning. I'm not saying nobody said it, but the only one that I heard saying that was attempted murder. That was attempted murder. They were trying to burn a building they thought he was in.
Yeah, and they didn't pay any attention if anybody else was in the building. So there could have been a lot of collateral damage in there too.
Yeah. Burning down a building you think somebody is in is attempted murder.
Yeah.
By the way, Antifa, so is shooting into a building. Now that you guys have started doing that stupid shit.
Oh, it'll escalate more. Just give it time. These people aren't smart.
But all the shit I saw back then, it was, of course, the liberals. No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually the kids at Berkeley. It was just a couple of bad actors who came onto campus. Yeah, and all of those people from the campus, that outnumbered the handful of people in black bloc gay ninja gear. What did they do? Stood there and cheered. Or maced a woman because she was wearing a red hat. It wasn't even, that was the one that wasn't even was that the one that wasn't even the Make America Great Again hat? Yeah,
she was just some college co-ed lurking in the area, as I recall.
Got fucking maced over it and people getting punched. Yeah. But hey, it was just a couple of people coming in from off campus causing some problem. No, they were trying to kill people. And that right there should have been the end of it. It should have been, these people are trying to kill people. Stop it. But no, because they're a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yep.
My little sis is autistic, and a woman told me I was being offensive because I told someone when my sister was out of earshot, she has the mental capacity of a 9-year-old. It's not a slam. It's just me explaining to another person the reality diagnosed by a psychologist of my 24-year-old sister. Oh, wow.
Tell that person to mind their own fucking business.
Yeah. I'd have told them they were retarded. See what that did to them. Man.
I don't like people that insert themselves in other people's stuff.
Well, that's what we have today, man. That's how we have the culture we do.
Yeah,
there's a great scene from the Portland riot. Sorry, demonstrations the other day. Hey, have you seen the big black guy, Jack? If you've seen him, you know who he is. There's video. Go to Andy Knows Twitter, and if you scroll back to that day, he's got like a whole bunch of videos up there. One of them is this big black guy who kept popping up until he eventually got arrested. And at one point, there's this fat white guy who's walking away, who's gotten maced or something. He's calling for water and stuff. And this big black guy is just giving him all kinds of shit. And this lady, who, by the way, is on the Antifa side, is trying to get the black guy to just back off and leave him alone, let the guy just go away. And he goes, there's always some white woman getting in the damn way. I'm like, bitch, if it wasn't for those white women, nobody would be listening to fuck all Antifa had to say. You should be kissing her ass. Because the real problem with America is white women. Sorry, ladies. Not all. Hashtag not all. Hashtag not all. Because some of you white women is pretty nice.
Hashtag amend the 19th.
It's Deborah and Becky. Those are the ones. Not Becca. Becca's great. Becky. Deborah and Becky. They're causing all kinds of fucking problems out there. Can I speak to your manager, please?
Fucking Becky.
Dude, I remember when I worked at Walmart. This is a true fucking story. There was a Cosmo cover that came out. I forget who it was. Some pop star that I don't give a fuck about. but she was, oh, and Karen, yes, J-Wo, sorry, Karen, that bitch too.
Oh, those Karens.
Karen, man, her and that haircut. But the Cosmo cover was some female pop star in her underwear.
Dun dun dun.
She was wearing granny underwear, man.
Of course.
She wasn't wearing anything salacious, right? We had this bitch come in and complain because her son saw a picture of this woman in her underwear when they were at the counter, and she doesn't know how to explain that to him.
What, so women wear underwear?
We had to cover them all up.
Oh, that's bullshit.
No, they actually make if you go into Walmart, you'll notice this from time to time. They make special sliders.
Oh, those black things that sit in front of the magazine?
They're actually, the ones in our store were white.
Mm.
But yeah, basically the same thing. So you can still see the cover. You can still see like a model's head or something, but you don't see the rest. Now, the funny part about this, Jack, is that on that same fucking rack, 2 spaces down, was a woman in a thong bikini. I shit you not. She had no problem with that. It was the bitch in her grandma underwear.
Well, I mean, I'm offended by grandma underwear too, but I don't go around making people cover it up.
I'm just like, that's the problem. And no, Ramen, it wasn't sexy underwear. Somebody can look up who it was. I can't even remember who the fuck it was, but this was maybe a decade ago. Some pop star on the cover of Cosmo, and yeah, she was wearing granny panties. It wasn't sexy at all. They were kind of nude, so maybe it kind of looked like her skin, but not really. It didn't match her skin.
Yeah, ladies just beat a bitch.
And there's a woman in her underwear, like, honey, there's a chick right there whose cooter's almost showing.
Yeah, you can see worse than that in real life at Walmart.
Yeah, but you get these people, man, who this is another great thing because Lady Monkey, I didn't work at Walmart at the time, but she almost left the store because I was throwing such a big ass fit about it. I went in there to buy a CD, and I can't remember what CD it was. And unfortunately, at the time, unless I wanted to drive another 60 miles, the only way for me to get this CD was at Walmart. And it was censored.
Yep. I remember
and I
when
was
they started that.
Pissed. Because over on the shelf, you know what they had? Right near this, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. In DVD. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. I wasn't talking to anybody in particular. I was just out loud to myself. I didn't annoy the staff, but I was throwing a fit to myself. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I can buy a movie with the song Uncle Fucka in it, but I can't buy this because the guy says fuck once or twice when he's singing. I can have it in video form, but not in. If I hear it through my radio, what's it gonna do? I was just like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah. Yeah. I stopped buying CDs at Walmart because of that.
Me too. They did censoring of music twice because they did it for a while and then they stopped and then they brought it back. And it was when they brought it back, I didn't realize they'd brought it back because until then it hadn't been a problem. Then I go and like, I'm not buying a censored version of an album, you fucking assholes. I'm not 10. Yeah, I just like Bigger, Longer, and Uncut sitting. I mean, you could almost touch it from where the CD is that I was buying. I'm like, am I the only one who sees a fucking problem here? An inconsistency?
It's that selective outrage, you know.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when it goes back to, remember Tipper Gore?
Oh,
had to censor the music.
We need to control your thinking.
Well, lots of people, if you go back to that time, her whole thing was, oh no, they're swearing in the music. We got to save the children. They're swearing in the music. Because this is before gangsta rap was actually really a thing. That actually, the closest we had at that point was NWA had started.
2 Live Crew.
2 Live Crew is the one that actually set it off. And if you listen to their music, it wasn't gangsta. It was all about fucking. But
oh yeah.
The arguments against it at the time was people go, wait, there's all this violent movies and stuff. And like, okay, you're missing the point. Okay. She wants to censor music that has the word fuck in it. That same violent movie, I don't care how violent it is. You know what else it has in it? A whole lot? Fuck. A bunch. There's just no consistency at all. It's like, we need a rating system. Fuck off. And again, look, if Walmart wants to censor its music, that's fine. But I can still point out the absolute asininity of selling the album to a movie and having the album be censored. Because at that same time, I went and looked. They were selling the soundtrack to Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and it was censored, which I can't imagine what that sounded like.
Shut your beep.
No. Beep. Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker. That whole song, you just have to take it off the track. You'd have to take that track out.
Well, I'm imagining their sales on CDs probably dropped to the toilet once word got out.
Becca says, I think she was going after rock stars. There were several people in that time frame. There was that one senator, I forget his name, old white guy, who was really, really upset about Two Live Crew. And Tipper was mad about all kinds of shit because she was a old fucking Karen. She had the Karen cut her whole life. God rest her soul.
She dead?
Yeah, man, she died of cancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. While old Johnny was out banging chicks. Yeah. While his wife was dying of cancer, he was having affairs.
Oh, that's right. Didn't he knock up like some personal assistant or something, photographer?
I can't remember if he knocked her up, but yeah, he got busted with that. And then that was before his presidential run, and during his run, they're all like, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Just everybody slowly stopped talking about him," and he just kind of went away.
Yeah, he did, like Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, I was watching clips of Bill Maher because I actually caught his new rules yesterday. I think it was, or no, it's from Friday, but I watched it yesterday. And I don't know how much you've seen real time, but when he does his new rules, he does these rapid fire takes before he hits on his last big one, Oh,
okay.
And his last big one was actually about gun violence. And thank you, Mighty Balzac, who says Tipper had sand in her vag. You ain't lying.
Very true.
Well, her husband was banging people while she had cancer.
Did she marry John Edwards?
Tipper?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Tipper Gore. I'm thinking of Edwards' wife. I've got them confused. My bad. No, Tipper. Is Tipper still alive?
I don't know. I'll look her up.
I can't remember now. I'm all confused. You guys, I was just all confused there. I was confusing Tipper Gore with Edwards' wife. Anyhow,
oh man, she's hideous. Yeah, she's still alive. She's 71.
If that's the real inconvenient truth there.
Yeah, they divorced. I thought they divorced in 2010.
Yeah, Gore wasn't sticking his dick in anybody. That was Edwards. My bad. Yeah, Gore, I don't think he could get laid even with his wife. Those aren't his kids. Just like old Bill, man, just like his friend. No, but Bill Maher, his thing the other day it was actually kind of interesting. And I didn't agree with all of it. But he said, we don't really have a gun problem. We have a lonely people problem. And he made a compelling argument that our problem right now is that people don't have friends. And he mostly blamed it on iPhones and computers and texting and all this. Thank you, James Colley. Mrs. Ketchup was Edward's wife. No. That's
John Kerry's wife.
John Kerry's wife. But thank you for the donation. No, he made a pretty compelling argument.
Mrs. Ketchup.
Yeah, Heinz. Teresa
funny.
Hines.
Yeah, I just think it's funny.
His argument being that, you know, people, they don't have friends. And he gave a statistic, and I don't know where it's from. I'm gonna have to look it up. But like 20% of millennials say they have no friends. And like 25% of them say they have no acquaintances.
Ooh.
Yeah. How fucking scary is that?
Well, they're on their phone and on the internet all the time. I mean,
And you can't make a friend?
well, apparently not.
Look, you and I have never met. I consider you a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
For you guys that don't know this, many times after the show, I sit and talk with the guys who've been on the show for hours.
Yeah,
There have been times we've been like 4 hours later, and it's like, shit, we should have just kept going.
Right?
But yeah, it's a scary statistic. And his basic premise was that guns aren't really the problem. I mean, that they are still a problem because he's a liberal, of course. But the real problem is that people don't have friends. So when things go wrong, they have no one to fall back on. They have no support system in place. So
Yeah.
what they do have, easy access to a gun. I can't say I necessarily disagree with him there. I don't know how much of that is a problem. Excuse me. We've seen with some of the mass shooters that they've been incels, the Elliot Rodgers types. But mass shootings make up such a tiny percentage of actual shootings. They get talked about a lot because they're sensational, but the majority of shootings is just, you know, one, maybe two people. And
Yeah,
you need
gang violence, that sort of thing.
Yeah. You're cheating on me, bitch. That kind of shit. So I don't know that that's part of America, a discernible part of American gun violence, but it is a scary fucking thought. 20% of people have no friends at all.
Well,
none.
We've raised people to be afraid of everything, and they're worried about stranger danger, and they're worried about going outside because, you know, all these things could kill you, or you got to worry about these phantom white supremacists. There's all these things to be terrified of, and they're not taught social skills. So they sit around staring at their phone. You're not going to meet anyone that way. Typing into the void, and who's responding to you? Apparently nobody. Apparently the people that they do communicate with aren't even close enough to be called acquaintances. And granted, some stranger rando on Twitter isn't going to help you move, but I don't know. I just think a lot of this is cultural at this point. Like helicopter parents have been so involved, there's no sense of independence. People don't know how to go out and socialize anymore.
Kathy says, I counsel a lot of current first year uni students from impoverished backgrounds. Not having friends is a lot to do with the definition of a friend changing. Oh, if you could give us a short synopsis of what you think they mean a friend these days. But then Raman says, I do similar things, just go to work, then home. I don't really interact with other people unless it's work related. Everywhere I've ever worked, I've had friends. They're almost kind of like my internet friends here, Jack. You and I have never met, but we're together several hours a day. And that's how it was at work. I mean, I had good friends at work that if they need me there, I'd help them out, but I've never been to their house. I don't know their families unless they'd come into the store kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made friends with the people I worked with. It seemed natural. I'm going to spend that much of my goddamn life there. I'd like to have people to talk to.
Yeah.
There are people that still work at Walmart that every time I go in there, yeah, it's a great big hug and I miss you. I hope you're well. Because yeah, we were actual friends. I don't like befriending people at work. Work politics is dangerous. Man, you guys are
no. It's kind of true these days because you can get fired for saying the wrong thing. You got to walk on eggshells all the time at work now.
Well, see, that's the other thing. I except for when it came to, you know, something I knew I could get fired for if I was like on the floor or something. I don't walk on eggshells.
Yeah, that's how I tend to get fired from jobs too.
I've never been, well, like I said, I was fired from Walmart, but they had to hire me back. I've never actually been fired where it took.
I've been asked to resign a few times.
No, I'm just me. But it is funny because there were people, I mean, I'd been working at Walmart, 8 years, 9 years at this time. No, it had to be about 8 years because I was still running the front. And my manager pissed me off. I was just fucking done with him for the day. And he wouldn't leave me alone. He was the manager that anytime, I needed to talk, it's like, we need to go behind a door so we can talk. And it was a good thing because that me and him going behind a door meant we could say whatever. He didn't punish me for anything I said back there. I was allowed to speak however I wanted to.
Oh, that's good.
No, he was really good about that. But this day I was pissed, and he insisted we solve it now. And I just needed a little bit of time to myself, because when something would piss me off, what I would do is like, okay, I'm going to fume about this in my head. And then I'm going to go home and I'll think about it rationally, and I'll come back tomorrow and deal with it. That's how I deal with stuff, because that's a good way not to get fired. Don't go off on a impromptu rant. But he was insistent we need to deal with this now. And I was up front, and I did not mean to say this. And I said, Michael, get the fuck away from me. I'm like, oh shit.
Whoops.
And he goes, all right, we'll talk in a little bit. And he didn't punish me for it or anything. And the only other person who was around that heard it was a cashier that's been at that store. By the time I got there, she'd already been there 6 years or something like that. And she worked there the whole time I did. And she came up to me, she goes, I didn't know you swore. I'm like, huh? Well, you obviously don't listen to me in the break room, because I swear like fuck. I'm like, oh yeah, I do from time to time. But yeah, I was like, get the fuck away from me. Man, he was pushing me that day. And he was trying to be helpful, because that like I said, we go behind a door and I'm allowed to say whatever I want. But again, I always did that after I had a calming phase.
Yeah.
Because that's what you should do. Think rationally. Walmart doesn't allow one-on-one behind closed doors anymore. I haven't been there for a while.
That's so you don't meet to everyone.
Well, at the time, I wasn't allowed to have a one-on-one behind closed doors with a woman. There would have to be another woman there. Which was funny. If there was when I was fired by a woman, they didn't make sure there was another man there.
No, of course not.
Interesting.
I got fired by a guy one time, and I hated that job anyway. So to get even with him, I purposely came out of the he wasn't looking right at me. So he was like, I'm so glad this day has come. You're fired. Get the fuck out of my store, blah, blah, blah. So he wasn't looking, and I pulled my pants down as I walked out.
Hey.
And I started crying as I pretended to pull them back up.
Nice.
And 3 or 4 people were standing around like, the fuck just happened there?
No, with that, let me tell you, this is another reason that I go home and think, because like when I got fired, they had one of my friends do it, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Fucking dicks.
Oh, it'll be easier.
But as I was leaving, it's like they didn't have a man in there with me. I could so easily sue this place right now. So easily. And like, if she wasn't a friend of mine, I would call HR right now. Say they just let me go after she hit on me.
Yep.
And that's why I go home and calm down first, because I'm a vindictive fuck.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I went home, calmed down. It's like, okay, let's look at this logically. They fired me when they knew I tried punching out because their goddamn clock didn't work. Let's see what the DM thinks about that. And she was like, they did what? And I got a call back. It took me, because I actually called home office first. And like, you have to talk to your DM. And I'm like, I fucking hate that cunt.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay. So I called her office and explained what happened. And I talked to her assistant first. And I got a call back from her like less than 10 minutes later. She goes, tell me the story. And I told her, she goes, I'll call you back in a few minutes. She called me back and she goes, you can come back to work tomorrow. Like, thank you. And actually I ended up going back 3 days later because it's like, no, I need a couple minutes. Tell you, man, I walked back into that place like the cock of the walk, man. Like, all right, motherfucker, you took a swing and you missed. And I know what dirty shit you do. I kept management secrets, man. Not because I enjoyed the managers, but because every now and then you needed that kind of leverage. This is the manager who buried a we had an AP guy, asset protection. He was the asset protection coordinator for the store.
Yeah.
Told one of our CSMs, which is the little girls who'd run the front end for me. He was telling her where there weren't cameras in the store so they could go make out. Mm-hmm. And this information came to me from her. And as soon as she told me, it's like, fuck, I have to report this. Because I did my job how I was supposed to, man. And in this case, so I have to report that. That is dangerous. I mean, that's telling people where they can steal.
Yeah.
So I went to the asset protection guy right under him. I'm like, Al, I need to talk to you. He's like, all right. I'm like, we need to go somewhere private. So we went and I told him the story. He goes, fuck, Frank. Why are you bringing this to me? Like, I didn't want it. So what happens in that case, because he was a manager, is they have this book of any complaints that go against manager. What's it called? The Red Book, I think. It's been a while. But any complaints against a manager like that has to go in this book. It has to be written down. And then it has to be investigated. And they buried it, man. They absolutely buried it. Never even put it in the book. And while I can't see the book, that asset protection guy I went to, he can see the book. And he goes, it's not in there. I was like, oh, really? We're going to tuck that away for later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I fucking hated those guys. I had a lot of great managers, but there were a couple of them, man. Oh, I fucking hated them.
It's so much internal politics and high school drama, especially in retail. It's awful.
I was good at my job. I did my job. I never spoke poorly about management out on the floor or anything. I never questioned policies on the floor. We always did that behind a door, except for when I told you about the whole Kmart thing.
Yeah.
And that slipped out. That wasn't my fault. My only problem was that I kept pissing off the wrong people. Oops. Yeah. I think ultimately the problem I highlighted above was students being taught to fear everything. They also are not taught value of hard work and what they need, and that they need to work to make a friend. Where did you get? Okay. Trying to give a synopsis of neurosis is hard, but essentially they don't realize you can make friends at university class can turn into friends. So I've often had to give them a helpful push. Also, that not every friend is automatically the help you move kind, and that friendships aren't instantaneously like on TV. You have to work to improve and grow. Well, I see what you're saying there. One, they can be instantaneous, but it's not. That is a rare find, when you just click with someone.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I don't think that's necessarily because it said a change in what people think friends are. You know what I've noticed? As a Navy brat, we moved around a lot. So there were friends that I had as kids that I couldn't even tell you their fucking name. But if you live somewhere where kids grew up together the whole time and they start to drift, even if you go to all the way through high school with somebody, eventually you will drift apart. Most people, not everybody, you'll still have a friend or two, but most people will drift apart in your class. That's why you have reunions. Oh, I haven't seen you in 5 years. That kind of nonsense. But there's always a couple of people that, because their friends don't call them still every day, because they got a job and kids and shit now, they're like, everybody must hate me. Like, I bet they fucking do. You're a fucking chore, bitch. It's like, yeah, people's lives move on. I've seen so many people with that whine about their lives. Okay, at Walmart, you see a lot of women in their 20s, especially if you work up front. And I saw so many of them that just whined that bullshit. My friends don't like me anymore. Why do you say that? I invited them over and they wouldn't come over. They had their wife or their husband and her were celebrating the birth of their child. What a cunt. Yeah.
Yeah, selfish bitch.
Fucking bitch. Like people's life, like, move on with your life, people. High school should end. I'm just throwing that out there. I really do think that being a Navy brat has helped me with friends and everything because you were forced to learn how to make friends.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of complexity in making friends, and some people just aren't good at it.
Well, it helped because not only were you forced to make friends, most of the people you went to school with were in the same situation.
Yeah.
So a lot of the clickiness and bullshit that I've seen on TV about schools never happened in the schools I was in. Never happened because there weren't cliques, man. There were people who had been here longer than the other people and were about to move. That's how all of it was. But I mean, there were some lifers there, kids who grew up in that area and never, their parents weren't in the military, but there was a shit ton of us who were. So it made it easier because you didn't have. It's not like if you see in movies like a Navy brat or military brat, well, they're done with school and they go to a place where they're going to be forever, and all of the kids there know each other, and you're the one outcast. That hardly ever happens to a Navy brat, because we all move the fuck around so much. Your dad's not likely to get out. To be fair, high school ends for some people when the court orders them to stay a certain distance away from high schools. Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Allegedly dangerous. Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. My lawyer says I should talk about this.
TA says I was an Army brat. Do you find that it makes it easier? I mean, when like people come in and out of your life, because I do. From what I see of other people, they seem to struggle with it a lot more than I do. Far says our cliques were more like my dad's a bogan, but he's a richer bogan than your dad. Aussies.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, we didn't really have to deal with cliques, man. That was nice.
Yeah, that would be.
The worst we had is there was always the weird kids. It doesn't matter if you.
Oh, now you're judging me.
No, man, like there was this one kid. I actually remember his name. His name was Wayne. Back in 4th grade. Yeah, because it was when we moved to Virginia Beach the first time. He was the kid. He was a fat kid, and he was the one that he would make jokes about being fat before anyone else could. But he'd also like try to be funny, and so he'd like take all of his food, no matter what it was, and mash it up on his plate, and then pour his chocolate milk over it and try to eat it with a straw.
That's the kid that also had like a collection of dead animals in a shed somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably in jail right now. TA says my school was really cliquey. Where? If you don't mind, you don't have to tell me if you're like still in the area, but like what kind of areas did you live in? I'm curious. Fat is where it's at. Look, being the fat kid who jokes about being the fat kid is a defense mechanism that can work really, really well for fat kids. I've seen it work really, really well for fat kids, but he was just weird, man. We had another one who liked to eat worms.
Yeah, we had one of those.
I always hated those guys. Hell, a buddy of mine, haven't seen each other in 20 years. We served in the Army together. We see each other one time a year, maybe. I have friends still from Virginia Beach that I talk to now and then. It's why I still love Facebook. I will always have a special place in my heart for Facebook because I was able to connect with some of those people that I'd lost touch with when we left. People have been major impact in my life. I think there's like 4 of them. The rest of them I don't give a fuck about. Small towns are very cliquey. Yes, they are. And those little fuckers, because I did do a little bit of school when we got up here, and I could not give a fuck less about those people. They were shitbags. They were just all shitbags. But by that time, I was in high school. I was big as fuck, and I may be a nerd, guys, but I don't fucking look like one.
I was officially told I'm not allowed to go to the reunions.
Nice. Now, see, I've been 6 foot since I was 13 and a half. Nice wide shoulders, broad chest. I'm a big bitch. And I like to fight, so.
Always helps.
I knew jocks, nerds, and that's the guys. I also knew cheerleaders and goths. I could break up the girls group into sluts, cheerleaders, and loners. Huh. I was a chameleon. I could fit in because there were, the groups, but I mean, nobody was cliquey and shitbags to each other like you see in Mean Girls or anything like that. But I mean, I had my nerdy friends. I had my drama friends who, yes, were not the nerdy ones. Actually, in my one school, that was the cool clique. The football players got laughed at, man. It was weird. It was fucking weird. They also hadn't won a game in like 6 years, so figure that out.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, which is sad because I mean this was a huge school. I think the last time I was in there, because they'd actually opened up another school to take some of the pressure off that one, because it had gotten up to almost 3,500 students.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I left, it was back at 3,000, and they couldn't put together a football team.
They didn't try real hard.
No, and I looked it up again because I haven't been down there in forever. They've actually added like 6 or 7 new schools since then.
Shit.
Yeah, man. Virginia Beach is just blown up. It's like a real city now. Being a Navy brat myself, I get the chameleon thing. Yeah, it was easy to just move through people because you learn to. I'm a watcher too, so most of the time, if I ever ended up talking to somebody, it was because I had to. But in that situation, like, okay, time to turn into the talker. And I always ended up, making friends that way. But I wasn't in any specific group. My graduating class had 85 people. Holy shit. I had a friend who went to another school in Virginia Beach. She's the reason I won't go to graduations that aren't for my children. She went to Bayside in Virginia Beach. You can look that one up. And I love her. I still talk to her from time to time. But I sat through her fucking graduation ceremony, and it was for like 600-700 kids. And that is a long fucking day.
Yeah. Fuck that. I have other shit to do. Just find out where they're at in the alphabet and show up around there.
Well, yeah, because before that, of course, you have to have all the fucking idiots up there. Nobody cares about speaking. The president didn't show up. I think the guest speaker at her graduation was the local weatherman.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
Over here, it's going to be a chance of success, 20%. This kid, he's going to be 100% failure.
Oh man, it was so bad. And the talking part of it lasted for well over an hour.
Of course it did.
And then they read the names of every one of those fucking kids. And when it was over, it's like, I love you, but I hate you right now. I fucking hate you right now. I took 3 townships for my graduating class to have 310 students. Wow. Yeah, I've said before, the high school I went to, I won't tell you which one I did. There's enough of them down there, and we're down there at the time that I don't mind telling you where I went to high school. But I don't think any of those schools had less than 2,000 kids in them. Not one of them. And in Virginia Beach, high school is just 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. 9th grade was middle school, or was it actually called junior high? I know there was junior high in one of them, middle school in the other. Unless you went to that one, which had the both. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, the point being, the high schools with the 2,000 kids, that's 3 grades.
Damn.
Yeah. Those are big ass schools. The interior of our school was over a mile long.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh yeah. It was great though. I love that school. It was fun. It was really easy to sneak out too. I got busted for skipping school. This is after mom died and I didn't care anymore. And like I said, dad was drunk all the time. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to school. And my typing teacher of all people, my typing teacher called and sold me out to my dad. Like, you cunt. She was a bitch anyway. But she was trying to be one of those involved teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nosy.
So she calls my dad and is like, Frank's been skipping school a bunch. And so my dad actually stayed home long enough so he could drive me to school the next day. So I get out of my dad's truck, walk up the steps to the school, into the front door, wave to dad, go down the hallway, and let's see, cut across the track and went to a friend's house.
Nice.
It was real easy to sneak out of that place. Nobody gave a fuck, man. My son's graduating class had 687. He was the third to last to walk. He has his dad's last name. Wow. Damn. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yep. I will go to my granddaughter's graduations, and if we're blessed with a grandson eventually, his as well, or theirs as well. But yeah, if you're not in my immediate family, can't do it. Not even here. My brother graduated from up here. My daughter and both sons graduated from the same school. And those, I think there was like 60 kids, and that's still way too fucking much. Like, no. I'll do it for them. No one else. Like, your niece is graduating. Do you want to go? I'm like,
Nope.
Tell her I said, hey.
Good job. I'll send you a letter.
Look, I'll see. Everybody up here does open houses. Do you know what an open house is, Jack?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of one until we moved up here. An open house is where after they graduate, guys, you have like a little party for them, which is cool. It is. But yeah, fuck, I'll see him there. I'll give him a big hug and some money, and we'll call it good.
Yeah, go to the graduation party, slip him a 20, and be like, "That's for me not having to sit through your bullshit ceremony."
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you later.
That pomp and circumstance bullshit.
No, it's a pain in the ass. I'll show up at your little get together, give you your gift card or $20 or whatever, and then be on my way after I steal a bunch of food out of your fridge.
Becca, you pay attention. She said, I think Monkey said he dropped out, or maybe that was another YouTuber. Let me tell you what happened. Because technically, yes, I dropped out. I have a GED, guys. I was going to school up here, and Lady Monkey had moved up with me because she was pregnant. And I had missed some days because for like doctor's appointment stuff. And the guy who actually eventually became a town mayor here. He calls me in to talk. They'd found out my girlfriend was pregnant.
Oh, noes.
Yeah. He's like, I think what you need to do is you need to go to the adult education. He goes, because you'll get the same education, but you can do it on your time frame. I'm like, hell, that sounds great. What this little shit didn't tell me is that that year, and this fucker knew it, the adult education curriculum had changed so that their days and times were exactly the same as high school. There was no more of the what's the word I'm looking for here? The schedule was as tight as the other school, where it used to have some wiggle room in there. Yeah. So he signed me up for that shit, lied to me about it, and is like, oh, we're gonna play that game. Like, fuck it, I'm not going back. So that's how I left. And so then I went and got my GED, which I passed without studying. I'm smart. I didn't have to study at all. Took those real fast. And then went and took the SATs. No, the ACTs. We didn't do the SATs. Scored a 32.
Nice.
With no calculator. Throw that out there. I'm telling you, I'm smart. And then did nothing with it because I had no desire to go to school anymore. So
You didn't miss anything
Um,
other than piles of debt.
I probably could have got a more well-paying job, and actually, it did cost me a promotion at the last place I worked, which pissed me off too, because they had I didn't even want the fucking job. That's the part that pissed me off. They had a opening for a manager for group leader and manager position in the company, where you would have to oversee 10 people, but you could only apply for the position if you had 2 years of college. As I wait, time out. I have real world experience of supervising literally 100 people, and I can't apply for this because I don't have a college degree, a 2-year degree. And by the way, the 2-year degree didn't matter what it was in. Could have been in women's studies, art.
Oh yeah,
anything, as long as you had a degree.
yeah. That's all they really care about is you have a piece of paper.
I was like, that's fucking retarded. And actually, I sat down with my supervisor and we had a long talk about that. He goes, look, I agree with you. He goes, and I talked to him a little bit. And then me and him, we sat down for 2 hours because he went and talked to HR about it. He goes, HR, he goes, they see your position. He goes, but yeah, they think that the way to go is that. I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid. It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen really good people get passed over and they promote the biggest fucking idiot because he's got the piece of paper.
Yep. And like I said, I didn't even want the job because it would have changed my scheduling at the time, and that would have been bad for me.
But it's the principle that matters.
It was the principle. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You won't. I've literally 10 times the amount of people that you're talking about supervising. Oh, I was so pissed at that. Degrees are a sign that says you're a robot. They didn't promote you because you're not a robot. I was actually very good at my job too. And they were the ones who came and, do you want to apply for this? I'm like, what is it? And I looked it up. I'm like, not really. And then I got to that part. I'm like, wait a minute. What does it say? Yeah, they actually initiated it. But you fucking assholes. You absolute dicks.
And you're like, now I want that job.
This is why I rail against the college system right now.
Wait for it.
Me and Polly have had this discussion many times, and I agree with Polly about a classical education, but that's not what college is used for anymore. What, the classical education?
No, my avatar.
Oh, what'd you do?
I uploaded my avatar.
How the fuck did you just do that?
There's a little box down by where it says that I'm in the show and says I can edit my avatar.
Oh, I didn't even notice that thing. Oh yeah, baby. No more looking at nothing. Hell yeah. I wonder if I hope you don't have to do that every time.
I hope not, but everybody's all shocked and amazed now in the chat.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, hopefully that you can do that too. Sorry to derail you there.
No, believe me, I know where I'm at. I've had this argument enough times. But damn it, why are these on the small? Give me extra large icons so I can see what I'm looking at.
Right? Like my fucking eyes are bad. I'm old.
Well, no, oh shit. Apply.
Jack is smart. Until it's like get carried away, duck dog.
There we go. Look, hey guys, we're back.
Woohoo!
The boys are back in stream. Anyway, no, as I was saying, I agree with Polly about the value of a classical education, but that's not how our education, our higher education is used anymore.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because in the older days, that was for the elites, and now they've made it so that everybody has to go to college if you want a decent job.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would be nice to be able to pursue that classical education, but that's just not realistic anymore unless you're wealthy.
What is downloading now? Stop it.
Steam.
Yeah, No Man's Sky has a small update that just started.
Small update of 5 gigs, probably.
That's actually 100 megs.
That's still pretty bad.
It is for me, especially when I'm streaming. But the way college has worked out now, yeah, you have to have that degree for a job. And I think if you're going to make somebody do that, then what you need to be giving them is training for what they're going to be doing, or at least something close to it.
You would think so.
Otherwise, it's a scam.
It's a total scam, dude.
I've been railing against this since the 80s because it was in the 80s, if you go back, where they started pushing the notion of everyone needs to go to college. Everyone needs to go to college. Most people don't need to go to college. Professionals need to go to college. Everybody else, college should be if it's something you're interested in thing. It should be the classical education so that you're making yourself more well-rounded. But other than that, it should be lawyers, doctors, accountants, the people who are actually going to use what they're doing.
Yeah, and people that need to be licensed for things.
Yeah. And that's, again, not to say people shouldn't go to college. It should be a choice, which is just not in our society anymore.
Yeah.
And that all started with that whole 80s push of everybody needs to go to college. It's like, oh, y'all are just trying to get more money. And that's what it was.
It's working spectacularly too.
And and where does it lead to? The colleges get more expensive, and now the government has to come in because college is too expensive and pay for everything. Yay! Who didn't see that one coming?
Right? And then they it's sort of a symbiotic relationship. Colleges can raise their tuition fees, let more people in, and encourage people to get more loans. Then the government gets a lot more loan debt, and they get to tell people what to do and push them around a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
And it's the one type of debt that you can't write off through bankruptcy.
It's kind of weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very convenient.
You can buy a $1 million house you can't afford, and then you can write that shit off eventually. But not that college debt. Sorry about that.
No, we can't. We can't have that now.
Thank you, Lamented Guide, who said most people don't belong in college. Also, good morning.
I think there's a lot of people that should be in college. They should be in a trade school.
Well,
no, RJ, we're not bloomers.
Okay. To me, it's not even a question of belong. I think anybody can belong in college if it's something they want to do. But I remember going back to like when we were going into, I don't know about you, Jack, but for me, we're going into our 10th grade year. They start pushing the notion you have to go to college. What are you going to go to college for? How are you going to get good scores on your here ACTs, or when I was in Virginia, it was SATs. What are you going to go to college for? What do you want to be when you grow up? And that's how they taught. It wasn't you should go to school to become well-rounded. It was, what do you want to be when you grow up? What kind of job is it you're interested in? But they still pushed college, even if it was like, I want to be a welder. Well, you need to go get yourself a nice degree in basket weaving. And then you can go to the trade school where you really should fucking be. But I'm with you, Jack. I think we need a lot more trade school. And I think we need to de-emphasize the importance of college to our high school graduates and emphasize things like trade schools.
Yeah.
And then college will be what it should be. Again, I don't think college is a bad thing. I think college is great. I think a lot of what they've added to college, especially gender, race studies, that kind of stupid shit, that is nonsense. But hey, if you want to go and get that well-rounded nonsense degree, cool. Excuse me. I have a well-rounded Norwegian friend who came to Oz because the Norwegian standards are so high to get into free college, his grades weren't high enough. Just imagine how many students begging for free uni in the States won't be able to qualify if their grades aren't good enough. Oh, you're missing the point here. No. Not one of these fuckers has talked about a single qualification. Not one. It's just free college.
Yeah.
I'll take that back. Kamala Harris, I think, did have a plan that included some of at least the early part of her plan will be based on income. But and Warren's might have had that in it for a while too. But other than that, there's no educational standard to it, is what I should have said. There's no, hey, you got straight D's in high school. You can't come here anymore. And yeah, fucking stupid. I did see, who was it I saw talking about that the other day, about the free college thing? They ask a great question. It's a great question. Why should people who aren't going to go to college have to pay for people who are? Because it's not like the public education system, K through 12, where people, you have to go to school. And all of us came up through that. So all of us, are paying back into it. I can see that. I never went to college. I have no desire to go to college. The only college I'm interested in helping pay for is for my family. I shouldn't have to pay for everyone else to go to fucking college.
Yeah.
Take their own damn selves there.
Well, I enjoyed college quite a bit. I learned a lot of things that weren't in the curriculum because I spent my time educating myself a lot of times. Stuff they taught us was worthless 90% of the time. So I had a lot of fun there, though. I mean, goofing off and chasing girls and doing all sorts of dumb shit. But honestly, I really shouldn't have gone to college. I just went to prove my high school guidance counselor wrong.
Nice. And again, I'm not shitting on college. What college is right now, I'll shit on. But the idea and again, well-rounded, that's a great thing. It's a great thing if that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
Again, Monkey, if you're being taxed to pay for everyone to go to college, you are paying for college. You just don't get the benefit of the degree. No, that's what I'm saying. Why should I have to pay for college if I didn't go and have no desire to go? I agree with what you're saying. I don't know why you're saying again, or if you're misunderstanding what I said there. What I'm saying is that I didn't go. I shouldn't have to pay for other people to go. Is that you?
Yep.
Oh,
no, SDA can't say that. I've never appeared on stream.
You're so cute.
I'm adorable. Look how adorable I am.
You really are.
Your face reveal. You're welcome, society. No, I think we're pretty well aligned on this one. I just think that it's way too expensive to go to school now because everybody wants to go. It should be something that is more oriented for people that are, specializing in something technical like doctors and lawyers and stuff.
It should be that, and for the people who want to go for like I said, the well-rounded. If you have a job and I'd really like to go get a general degree and learn about all kinds of different things. Cool. But it shouldn't be required to do a job you've already done with 10 times the responsibility. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just fucking moronic. Yeah, that was the other thing he said in the when I talked to my supervisor that day. He's like, and they're not going to make an exception for you because then they'd have to make exceptions for other people. I'm like, well, if other people are qualified, don't you think you should make exceptions for that? He goes, I don't have answers for you. I know you don't. You should have just said that from the beginning. I just don't. The other problem with college, with the cost of it, is administration. The administrative costs of college have just gone fucking insane. And if you look at the numbers, that there's a couple of, I think they did it with University of Michigan. I think this is one they did, but the number of administrators in the college over the last, I think it was 2 decades or something, it's like just gone up ridiculously. We're talking, and it's millions of dollars they're paying these people. And it's not that the college is bad for doing it, it's they're forced to because of all the government bullshit.
Oh yeah, regulations. Plus, then you have to have your sensitivity people and all this other bullshit made up stuff. Your diversity council and
don't forget your Title IX rape court.
Yeah, well, that's easy. Man's guilty.
Yeah, thanks, Obama.
Yeah, no shit.
No, in that instance, I mean, It's pointing out that is a problem. It's not blaming the colleges for it. There might be some where the college are like, hey, we could probably squeak out a few more. But no, it almost, I would say at least 90% of that is government forcing this shit on them.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, why aren't you guys making money? Because you're forcing us to waste it.
Yeah, all the compliance officers and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a scam.
And that's a damn shame because there should be value to it.
Oh, absolutely. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops for a piece of paper saying that you're good at jumping through hoops. It doesn't tell you anything about your work performance, how loyal of an employee you are, if you're going to show up on time, anything like that.
Dangerous Spaces says, my favorite part of uni was the lecturer who would take us to the uni bar. He'd buy us a couple of jugs of beer, bowls of fries, and we'd all chat for hours. If I was your dad and I found out there was a fucking teacher like that, I'd lose my shit.
Yeah, what a waste of money.
Like, I'm paying how much for what? And I get it. As a student, I bet that was great. I bet that was fucking awesome. But as a parent, man, like, are you out of your fucking mind? Our uni paid $40,000 for a brand redesign at one stage. A bit of the high admin cost is needed to navigate government shit, but some of it's because uni admin makes really dumb choices. Well, you're in Australia, right, Kathy? Over here, I mean, we have even more of that shit. Like I said, you have to have the Title IX office and that whole basic, let's call it what it is, the rape court, because Obama decided it was a good idea for college administrators to be judges and juries. Oh geez, of all the fucking stupid shit that man did, that was one of the worst.
Oh yeah, easily.
How many fucking lives has that ruined?
Quite a few. Probably more than we'll ever know.
And all because you're sucking up to women? Oh, don't forget they were running around with that rape statistic. I love the rape statistic. You know what I love about the rape statistic? How it changes depending on who's talking.
Yeah, that's true.
1 in 3 women will be raped. What? 1 in 5? How many? 1 in 4 women will be raped if they go to college today.
Well, there's a lot of raping going on in college. Do they have time to do anything else?
I don't know, man. Silverman says 1 in 4. LOL. What the fuck? Yeah, the statistic is 1 in 4 women on a college campus will be raped while she's there. It's nonsense. It's based on a definition of rape that is what's the word I'm looking for here, Jack?
A broad and open to interpretation sort of thing.
Retarded is the word I was actually looking for.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Disingenuous. Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna go over this one more time. Well, at least one more time. One more time today. How about that? Thank you, Lamented Guide, who says, how many lives has it literally ended from suicide? That's another question we won't know. But thank you for the donation, and you're right. The standards that they choose for that statistic come from a survey at, I believe it was just one university. And the questions include things like, has somebody asked you for sex? You told them no, and then they asked again.
Those bastards.
That's considered sexual assault. Has somebody tried to kiss you without asking you first? That's sexual assault. Yeah, that's the kind of shit that they base that stupid fucking number on. Browncoat says that's worse than the rape rate of the Congo. Yes, it is. Something that's been pointed out many, many times, and still people buy that shit. You should find that actual questionnaire. I wish I had it on I had it saved. But yeah, the kind of things that they say is sexual assault / rape would get, if those were true, me and Lady Monkey should both be in prison because we've both done it to each other so many times. You know how many times she's walked up and kissed me without, me asking her to kiss or her asking me if it was okay? Sexual assault.
This is why people don't have friends anymore.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You're not allowed. You'll be accused of rape just for like looking at them or saying, "Hey, you want to hang out?" No.
But you know what, Jack? It kind of ties back to what we started talking about. It's misdirection. It's sleight of hand, if you will.
Oh yeah, because it's about control.
It's a deception. It's a lie. To give the impression of something worse than it is. Who would actually send your fucking daughter to college if you thought she had a 1 in 4 chance of being raped while she was there? I mean, seriously, what kind of parent are you? Huh. And God, whoever's doing that, their dick must hurt. There's a great joke. That thing earlier told us we can't joke about rape. One of my favorite jokes is, what's his name? George Carlin. He gives the rape statistic. What is it, like? A woman is raped every 60 minutes or something like that. He goes, boy, is my dick tired. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
It's beautiful though. How many times has the wage gap been debunked again? They will never let facts get in the way of their narrative. I know. You're not wrong there, BG. And that's the problem. And again, that's why I keep talking. As Penn Jillette said, bad speech just means you need to have more speech.
Did you get Lamented Guide's super chat?
The one just a moment ago?
Yeah. How many lives has it literally ended from suicide? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you were saying that and
oh no, if I forgot to thank you, Lamented Guide. Yes, that was from Lamented Guide. And like I said, no, he's not wrong. We know some suicides have happened out of that. We know careers have been ruined. We know lives have been ruined. Just like you can't come here anymore because that bitch lied about you. And we know she lied, but we have to take her side. Thanks, Obamacare.
That's such bullshit. It was when I was doing substitute teaching, we had to deal with the No Child Left Behind.
Mm-hmm.
And that was garbage on an almost similar level. Not quite as life ruining, but we would have to not fail people. Like you couldn't give anybody an F if they were like learning disabled because No Child Left Behind. You can't fail them.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, but that's setting kids up for future failure. Because if they're not learning the skills now when they're young, they're not going to have them when they get out. So, I mean, there were kids that could barely read that were seniors in high school. You shouldn't get to that point.
Yeah, do you remember when we used to call that kids falling through the cracks instead of it being a government policy?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
And it is. But I blame women. I got to be honest with you. And again, I blame men because they don't tell women no. So everybody's to blame, but nobody wants to hear that little Johnny is a failure. Nobody wants to hear little Johnny's stupid. Nobody wants to hear little Johnny will be lucky if he's pumping gas, which we don't even do anymore. My kid is special. You don't know. And California there for a while, giving half credit for writing the problem correctly.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of teachers that give you points for writing your name on the paper.
Yeah.
So if you take a test, you're going to get some points guaranteed.
Oh, look, you're smart enough to know your own name. No, and it's one of those things, and this is where people have to understand. It doesn't come from a bad place. It doesn't. It comes from wanting people to feel good and not wanting to hurt people. The problem is the long-term effect. It's what I call short-term kindness.
Yeah.
It's a short-term feel-good thing instead of a long-term, this actually helps. And we have way too much of that shit in the society. Way too much of it. Way too much of let's just make them feel good right now.
You know? Yeah, it's everybody gets a trophy.
Well, it's like let's take the because I mentioned the other day I don't lie, and Polly's like, come on, I don't, and this is exactly the fucking reason I don't. Let's take the ultimate Everybody lies. Does this make me look fat? Oh, of course not. Of course not, sweetie. That is a short-term lie to make you and her feel good. Now, you go out into public. What happens if somebody says, damn, you're fat?
She cries.
She cries, and she knows you're a fucking liar. She's not going to trust you and your opinion anymore. Good job. Well done. When what you could have done is, nah, baby, that doesn't look good together. I mean, there's some, you don't have to go bulging. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. The fit just isn't right. And she tries something on. Hey, actually, you look pretty nice. You look pretty nice. And she goes out and she gets compliments. Everybody has a good time. Don't lie. Fucking hate liars, man. You know how you piss me off real easy, Jack? Call me a fucking liar. Because I don't see much of a need for it. Again, there's times I've been facetious on streams where I'm fucking around and, you know, making jokes about things I may or may not actually believe in. But I don't lie because I don't see a point in it. My boss, when I worked at the machine shop, there was a night I fucked off all night. I didn't do shit. I wandered around, talked to my friend. The machine I was supposed to be working on, I maybe had turned on for 20 minutes out of the 10 hours I was there. And the next day he comes up to me and goes, Frank, I was looking at your numbers. And he goes, and last night they were just bad. What happened? I'm like, I didn't do anything. I was fucking off. And he just looked at me and goes, what? I was fucking off all night. He didn't know what to say.
Thanks for the honesty.
He did. That's eventually what he got to. And like, look, dude, it won't happen again. If you need to dock my pay for it, I absolutely understand. I said, but I just didn't do anything last night. He goes, he paid me for it, dude. He's like, nah, we won't dock your pay. He goes, but don't let it happen again. Like, cool. And that was it. That was the end of it.
Yeah, that's good management, though. I mean, if somebody's upfront about what they did, you can't really punish them if they're gonna be honest about it, you know, because they're accepting responsibility.
It would have been still accepting responsibility if he had said, yeah, we're not paying you for last night. And I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense, dude. I wouldn't pay me for it either. Yeah,
but at the same time, like I would let the first one slide. Like, all right, you fucked up, but don't do it again. And then if you did it again, it'd be like, all right, this is a pattern now. Fuck you. But
I'll tell you this though, because I also, man, my friend didn't call in one night, and the next day, because I was the only, there were two of us there. There always had to be two of us there at any time, and there were only three of us that worked overnights. And I was working closest to the phone, and the boss comes and he goes, "Did so-and-so call in last night?" I'm like, I never took a call. I never heard the phone ring. He goes, all right. And then like 20 minutes later, I get a phone call. It's my friend. He goes, dude, if the boss asked, tell him I called in. I was like, I can't do that. Like two reasons. One, I've already told him no. And two, I'm not going to lie for you. And even though my best friend in the world at the time, and the boss came back to me, he goes, yeah, he told me that he talked to you. I'm like, he didn't talk to me. The boss knew that if he asked me a question, I was going to give it to him honestly. So he trusted. Trust is far more important than a momentary lie, dude. Far more important. Yeah. Don't break trust.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're out there banging somebody that's not your wife and your wife asks you, you probably should tell her. But let me tell you this. You shouldn't be banging her. Keep your dick in your pants, and then you don't have to lie about it. It's amazing how these things happen. It's amazing the cause and effect there, Jack.
Really is.
Yeah. Most of the time I find people lie. They other than, you know, your little white lies, which just don't do it. It's stupid. That they lie is because they put themselves in a bad situation. That's where you get your lies. No, honey, I was out with Steve.
That's why it burns when you pee.
Yeah. You must have picked that up on some toilet somewhere. Yeah. Oh man, it's been a good one tonight, man. We've been all over the place again. I like these ones. I love the fluid nature of this show.
That's a nice way of saying that we have attention deficit.
I like to think that we are multifaceted, Jack.
Easily distracted is a great way of
Easily.
saying it.
That's probably not a bad way of saying it. Squirrel, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what though? There's time for that in a day too. If you want some structure, there's other shows for that, and this is just not it.
Thankfully.
It's my release valve. It's where I come and just let shit fly. I do want to end with this, guys. Don't lie, because it's not good for people. Go watch some horrible humor. Go watch some who's a good horrible. Go watch some Jimmy Carr. I know there's people who don't like because he'll talk to the audience too much explaining a joke. Go watch Jimmy. He tells some of the worst fucking jokes you'll ever hear.
Jimmy Carr's my spirit animal.
I fucking love Jimmy.
I don't remember who in chat said to watch it, but thank you, because I'd never heard of him before.
And that laugh, man. It's the best thing ever. Go watch something fun. Go have some fun in your life. And if you hear him make a joke that offends you, take a deep breath and just laugh. It's okay. It's okay. You'll be fine. It's not going to hurt you. Doesn't hurt to hear things that you don't like to hear. Well, jokes that you don't like to hear. If you hear, yeah, honey, I'm banging, that'll probably hurt. But no, it doesn't hurt to hear jokes. So go have some fun. Go listen to something funny that you can't tell your mom you listen to, that kind of shit that you can't talk about at Thanksgiving dinner unless you live in a good family.
And then watch something that you know will piss off one of your lefty friends.
Yeah, go do something that's just fun for a change, because it's fucking Monday, you know?
Yeah.
It's Monday.
Like, I'm going to the dump in a few hours because that's what my day is going to consist of. So I'm doing this first.
I'm going to crawl into bed eventually, and hopefully when I wake up, I'll have some energy to do a game stream. I feel so fucking sad saying that. I hope I have the energy to play a video game. That's my life. But shit happens, right? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, I hope you can do it because, well, you should.
I might do one before I go to sleep. I'm not all that tired. I didn't wake up till God, what time did I wake up yesterday? You know what? Real quick before I've been watching I watch Married with Children every night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I tend to watch the same disc over and over and over again until I get tired of it, and then I'll move on to the next one. And I'm on disc. I don't remember what disc it is. I think it's 20 or 21. It's the second to last disc of the series, and it's the last season. And there's some episodes in this season that I really, really love. But I realized something about Married with Children. It ended a year too late. 1 year too late, because every fucking show in that, even the ones that I really love, they're just gimmicky as fuck, man. It's just a big gimmick. It plays on, what people expected the show to be, which is sad because that show was what nobody wanted. Nobody wanted it to be what it was when it started, and it just turned out to be a great thing. And I'm watching it, and it makes me sad, Jack. It makes me sad.
I know.
Over on the Streamlabs, thank you, Circus Zero, who said, I used to be an adventurer like you. Hang on. Sorry, it popped off the screen. Now I got to go over to the other screen to see it. I used to be an adventurer like you until you must have used voice to chat, didn't you? Or it says I'm tell. Now I'm going to say it the way it's supposed to be. I fucked this up like 4 times, Circus. Sorry. I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an offensive joke to the knee. Indeed. Thank you so much for the donation. And guys, thank you so much for the support tonight and for the support of Jack. Don't forget, links are all down below for different channels, our Streamlabs. You can donate when we're not on the air if you're watching this later, and please think about doing so. We appreciate it. But thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for all of the support, whether it's monetarily or sharing the stream and coming and hanging out with us every. What the fuck are y'all doing with your lives? What are you doing? You listen to us too,
right? I'm shocked every time too.
Yeah, me too. But I'm glad that you guys come hang out. I'm so thankful because it's awesome to come hang out with you guys for a night. Sorry we didn't get to MS or MITAM. We'll do that tomorrow or the next day when I remember. Jack, is there anything you want to shill tonight?
Yeah, actually, I want to shill Irate Bear's or Irate Alex's new video with Lord Bear. It
Cool.
was awesome. I left a comment on his video because I actually had a dream that I bought a Lord Bear playset.
Cool.
Of the manor house, and it had servants and fun powder. And then I woke up and there was a video of Lord Bear, so it was pretty awesome.
That is very awesome. Kathy Collins says, "Thank you, Ranting Monkey. Thank you, Jack." No, seriously, thank you guys for coming and watching this. Tonight we're going to be on Satsu 2 Cents for Lords of the Night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be over on 2 Cents Plus playing some more No Man's Sky. As I said, I hope to be on Ranting Monkey Games sometime today. Keep an eye on Twitter. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter. I don't know about Jack, but every time I'm on a stream, I tweet it out. So if YouTube's not giving you the notices or I'm on a stream you don't follow, that's how you can find me. So hit me up on the Twitters.
If you really like what he's doing here and his game stream, you should donate to his Patreon. Small monthly contribution.
Indeed. I appreciate the shill there. Everybody have a wonderful Monday. Jack, thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.